Hi everyone, this is Shirley from Shirley's World, and hi Diane, hi Cindy. I have people waiting for me here. Yeah, I had a very stressful week. I tried multiple things to get my eBay selling again. I'll tell you about it. Well, I think they're just, I don't know what's happening there. It's so weird. It's very strange. But I did sell on Poshmark. Most all my sales are from Poshmark until the very last day, which was yesterday, Saturday. I had 7 days in a row of 0 sales on eBay. Hi, Bumblebee. Yeah, I've never had that before, ever. 7 0 days on eBay. Not even an offer. It's like I was turned off, but I wasn't. My things were active because I searched them to make sure, and they were active. So I don't know. So I went on eBay and tried to get, you used to be able to, if you hunted long enough, you used to be able to get a phone number that you could call. So I have called them a few times way back. This has been a few years ago. And then it got to be where you had to just do that thing where you typed in, and it's not a real person you're talking to. Well, now you can't even get that. You can't even get a call back. You used to be able to get a call back. What they do is they keep sending these questions, automatic questions of what's your problem, and it just keeps looping around. And you never do get to talk to anybody, or even, I didn't even get to type anything. But the strangest thing happened then. After I did this, the very next day, this was Friday, I think. Friday or maybe Saturday morning, I got an email from eBay saying, how did your conversation go with the associate? I never had a conversation. And was your problem resolved? So I got to type back. And I told them exactly what I thought about their problem solving. And Saturday, I got 3 sales on eBay. Now, tell me that isn't just strange. I mean, yeah. Now I also went on, I think it was Saturday morning, and I found pages of my oldest inventory where you can see the start dates. I mean, it's back like 3-4 years ago. The oldest things I have on. And I just picked a few and I started putting on big promoted listings because I just want these things gone. I'll sell them and I just want them gone, and I want my money back so I can, reinvest the money. Yeah, very strange. So I went with, they suggested 12% on a lot of them, but it doesn't matter because I just want them gone. I'll make back what I paid for it. So the 3 items, it was too soon for that to work. I don't think these were some of the items that I put 12% on. I think anyway. Who knows? Things are so strange. So I did that to a few of my oldest listings. The thing is, you think that it would be better just to put really big sales on where the customer could see, because the customer can't see that I'm promoting these listings at a big percent. What happens is the customer gets to see, eBay puts them in front of the customer where they could have been buried for years. So you're distracted with puppy. Aw. Uh, yeah, so I don't know. I tried, I don't know. I think totally maybe I put 20 things on a big percentage promoted listings, which isn't much when you think of how much inventory I have, like 2,200 things. But I'll probably have some bigger sales starting Monday night or Tuesday on those very old items. But I didn't know what else to do. But that whole thing with the eBay contacting me when I hadn't really ever, I didn't really even type to them. But they knew I was on there searching for a way to get a hold of them. Yeah, I was watching someone today who said no promotions, but doesn't hurt to try. I know a lot of people don't believe in the promotions at all, which I usually never did more than 2% or 3%. Sometimes I would go as high as 5%, but I never do this, what they suggest. But I'm, going to try it. I'll try anything on that really old inventory. So that's where that goes. I did make 6 sales on Poshmark and those 3 on eBay yesterday. Now today I got another sale on eBay, but that'll go for next week. Yeah, so who knows what's happening over there. Yeah, Debbie contacted me and she's buying some things to get her store going. And she wondered what I use for my shipping. I think she meant shipping envelopes for eBay or Poshmark. So I got everything together here. And after I show you what I sold, I'm going to go through. Hopefully she will be here at that point, or if not, she'll see it, in the when she watches it. But yeah, I'm going to go over the shipping boxes and the poly mailers, everything that I use. Yeah, she was wondering what to buy. So first of all, I'm going to start with Poshmark because I'm mad at eBay. Yeah. They are playing games, I think, and I don't. So let me share my screen and get up here to my solds. Which I don't have the right window open, so I'm going to come back here and do this again. Okay. Now, I don't know why that's not showing. See, nothing's working. I swear. Well, there it is. This is what I sold right here on Poshmark. this has all been shown when I did the shipping video. So if you've seen those, these are just a repeat of those things. This first item is this Victoria's Secret pink. It's just a t-shirt, sleep shirt, and with a big V-neck on it. And that sold for $10. Best offer, because they're sending in best offers now too. And I only made $7.05 on that, but I've had it a while. You can see it has a white background. Okay, now it's doing it right. Okay, hope you can see this full screen. This is by 41 Hawthorne. It's called the Edith Lattice knit dress. I suppose that's the pattern, lattice, and the style is Edith. It sold for $20, but there's a shipping discount of $2.32, and I netted $13.68 on that. These are Poshmark sales. The next sale is a pair of jeans. These have really been on a long time because it's been years since I've laid my jeans this way. I don't do that anymore. So yeah, these have been on a long time, and used to be a really good brand to find, Hudson. But they sold, and they sold for $28. And I netted $22.40, which is probably my best sale of the week. Next thing is this little altered state. It says on here, spread kindness around like wildflowers. It sort of has some wash wear on it, but it sold for $12. That was a best offer. I bought this really hoping it would fit me because I really liked this, but it was an extra large and it was just hung on me. It was way too big. So yeah, so I made $9.05 on that. This is the blazer I sold by BCBG Azria. It was a one-button blazer, and it sold for $18, best offer that I took, and I netted $14.40. And this went right to Lakewood, Ohio, which isn't far from here. I mean, it's on the lake, closer up to Cleveland, but So the last thing on Poshmark was this little dress by Loft, Ann Taylor Loft, sort of above the knee, I think it was. I said knee high, but it looks like it would be above the knee. It just is a slip over dress. It has elastic around the waist, and it was a size small. It's black and white. It was all lined, and this sold for $14, and I made $11.05. And this went to Dublin, Ohio. So the eBay sales that I made. These were all came in yesterday. As you can see, this is a very old listing on a white background. Ann Taylor Factory, women's size small, or size 4, gray capri pants, and they had leg pockets. This is a really cute pair of pants. They sold for $17.93, which was on the 22% off sale. And this went to Parrish, Florida. And the second thing on eBay was this. Now, I've had this a long time also. See, I've had these 3 things long time. This is by that Harvey Bernard It's a cropped one-button wool blend jacket. And this sold for $15.59 on sale. And I made, well, that's what it sold for. This went, they wanted this to be ship priority. I think this is the one. No, ground advantage. So it was by weight, and it weighed like close to 2 pounds. So they paid, in shipping, they paid $16.65 shipping. I didn't pay that much, so I made a little bit more on the shipping. Yeah, but the total amount they paid was $32.24. Yeah, and this went to Ohio also. Orville, is that? No, Orville, Oregon. Not Ohio, Oregon, way out to Oregon. That's why the shipping was so much. And the last thing is something else I've had for a long, long time is this denim and flower Ricky Singh button-up shirt. It's a men's large. They have the flip cuffs. I don't know if I showed it here. Little flip cuffs. It can turn up, has a design on, and it has that same design around the on the placket of the buttons. So this sold for $16.22. That's an offer I sent out. So I'm not sure if these three things were an elevated promoted listings, but I don't think it could have been. I don't think it would have gone into effect that fast. So these are three of my oldest items in my inventory, which I'm super happy about. Yeah. And this went to Massachusetts, Winchester, Massachusetts. So let me show you the sad little thing here. This is eBay. Now, this is just eBay last week. Keeping in mind the whole week except for Saturday was 0 sales. This 3 sales right here is on yesterday, Saturday. So I made a total of $79.75 on those 3 sales. That was gross. Netted $44.24. The average selling price was $26.58, which is pretty good. Yeah. So let me come back and I'll tell you what Poshmark was. Okay, I hope you can see me. Poshmark, the 6 sales grossed $102 and netted $77.63. And the average selling price on Poshmark was only $17. Now, together, the total net, this is what went in my bank account. Total net was $121.87, but you have to take off cost of goods, which was for those, how many items? 6, 7, 8, 9 items, $31.50. So I made a total of $90.37. So, yeah. So hopefully, because I got another eBay sale today, hopefully it's going to keep going, that I'm going to be getting eBay sales now. But who knows what in the earth happened there? I just find it very strange. Yeah, I'm just Bumblebee. I'm just trying different things. This week, I'm also trying promoted listings. I'll put bigger sales on the old items. I may move all those old items. I can move them into a clearance I could change where they are into a clearance section. And then I'll be able to just put a clearance, my big sales just on the clearance items. I did that once before, and then I moved them back. But maybe I'll try that again. It'd be easier to put bigger sales on that way than to hunt and peck which ones I should do. So that way, at least the seller or the buyer can see that there's a big sale going on. I wanted to ask if anybody's on here that Diane or Bumblebee don't do eBay. I just wondered, after you sell something on eBay, is there a way to check if it was one of the promoted listings? I looked all over about the sale, and I couldn't find where it said that what the promoted percent was. So I don't know how you figure that out. I'd have to make a list of things I'm putting on. Yeah. So I was sort of hoping Debbie would come on here so I could do this, show all these supplies that she wanted to know about. Yeah, she wanted to know about the boxes and about what bags I use. But I'm going to show everything I use, from the things I use and where I get them, from the poly bags when I put things into the bins. After I photograph things, I use two types of poly bags. Two of them are the bigger, and they're like 12 by 14. And they are more of a stretchy poly bag. They all have a strip where you tear off and they close, you can paste them close. Now these have to have this warning on about suffocation, okay? Because these are thin. Now the other type I use, they are more of a cellophane, okay? Because they are thicker, they don't have to have that warning on. These are the same size, but because this one is sort of stretchy, you can get bigger items in. If you try to put bigger items in this, here's what happens. These sides will just give away, and they'll rip. So you have to be real careful with the cellophane bags. But they look nice. And even after a long time in the bins, they still look nice. That's the difference. So I also have the smaller little cellophane bags for small things. And these are like 8 by 10, I think. Maybe. Or 10 by 12. 10 by 12 and 12 by 14. Those are the two sizes I get for the storage bags. Okay. Now, as far as shipping, the shipping bags, the ones I get from eBay, have their logo on them, eBay. Okay, these are the ones I use the most, this size. They are 15 by 12 by 15, something like that. And then there's great big ones. I only have a few of them. And these are like 18 by, you get these in the eBay store. If you have a store, you get a coupon and you can buy things. You get them for free. Well, they give you, so you can spend the amount of the coupon. So these are eBay, and this is like 18 by 15. They're big. I have very few of those. And then if you go on Amazon, or you can buy this little small size. This size is like 10 by 12. This happens to be one I buy, and it's by Shipping Hip. They have really cute bags. And every once in a while, I'll buy some. Or you could go on Amazon and you can get the same size, very just plain bags for cheaper, you know. And I have those too, but, you know, these make me happy. I sort of pick the bag to go with the item that I'm, you know. Then somebody on here, one of you people sent me, it was, I don't know, was it Riri? Did you send these, Riri? I don't know. Somebody sent me these. Sent me a whole pack of these little tiny ones. And these would be good for just tiny little things to ship. These are shipping poly bags. And all these little hearts. So I've used them a couple times with just little things. Like if you were selling some jewelry, if you could wrap, if you had a box, a tiny jewelry box, you could wrap it in bubble wrap and put it in here. Or just little things. So those are the things that I use as far as shipping. Now the boxes, if you're going to ship, if you need a box and you're going to ship Ground Advantage, you cannot use a priority box. Okay. You can't use one of these and ship Ground Advantage. However, if you want to ship priority, you can use just a poly bag, a poly mailer, but you can't do it the other way around. But on Poshmark, you do all priority shipping. So here are the things I use to ship. And these are all free from USPS. You can just go on their site and order any of their priority shipping stuff. As much as you want. Some there's limits of how much you can get, but yeah. So as you've seen, I use the Tyvek mailer. I use the padded flat rate envelope. Those are the two envelopes. I don't use those cardboard envelopes at all. I never have. I know a lot of people do, but I can't, you know. To me, those are supposed to be for documents, and they say no, but you can make them almost like a football if they'll stay together, but I've never used those. Now, as far as the boxes go, for shoes, they have a regular shoe box that you can use. It says shoe box right on it. Right here. It'll say shoe box. And it's the 2020. No, that's the date. Just says shoe box. Then I use this size of a, if you have like a blazer or something, or maybe if you do a bundle of 2 or 3 things, you can slide them in here. There's 2 sizes. There's a 1092, which is this size, and then there's a 1095, which is just a little bit bigger, and it's a little thicker, a little fatter. 1092 and 1095. priority shipping. And these are all by weight. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter on Poshmark because you just ship in any priority shipping box. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's a flat rate or if it's a weight, pay by the weight. It doesn't matter because on Poshmark. Now, if I need a real big box, I use this number 7 box. It's one of their biggest boxes. And it folds, it folds down into a pretty good sized box. You have to tape this one. The other ones, you have to tape the shoe box and you have to tape this box. But it's a pretty big box and a lot will fit in this. So that is what I use for my shipping. Let's see. I was trying, Diane, you're talking to Diane, okay. You can't get a hold of them to reboot your store anymore. You can't do that. There's no way of getting a hold of them. I agree. Diane, if you find some magic way of getting a hold of eBay, please tell us about it. I spent half of yesterday or the day before trying to get a hold of eBay. Talk about being frustrated. Yeah. Now, as far as, I think on my shipping videos, I showed you the paper. I use that great big wrapping paper by U-Haul. You can get that on Amazon. And comes 200 sheets, I think, in a box. Or I use eBay's tissue paper. And if you have to use just plain tissue paper, you have to go buy that yourself. The tape I use, I only use this Duck Brand Easy Start because any other tape that I've tried that's not this Easy Start, if you lose it back into the roll, you cannot get it. It tears. It's just, but this has always been the best for me. Comes with its own little, taper. And you can take this off and you can reuse these, but they come like this. But you can buy packs of like 4, and then you can just reuse one of these tapers. Now, you can also on the eBay store, you can buy tape, but their tape is not very strong. That's what I found. I have a whole box of it. I don't use it much because it just isn't very strong. But if you wanted to put the eBay label across a box or something, you could use this. They also, on the USPS site, you used to be able to buy the priority shipping tape. But I haven't seen it on there anymore. I don't think you can buy these big rolls. It used to be big rolls like this of the priority tape. But I don't think they sell that anymore. Yeah. Diane, they just keep, they want to know what your question is. And they send these automatic questions that you pick from. So you pick, they weren't any of the questions I had. But if you have one of those questions, maybe you could get a hold of them. But I just randomly picked some And I still couldn't get a hold of, the associate that you can type to, or a phone number, or saying that they'll do a call back. Nothing. Zero. So, yeah. And then I got that strange email from them, like they had talked to me, like they had done something for me. So somehow they knew I was had a problem, and they gave me some sales. So it's just so strange. But yeah, I don't like that they're doing playing around like this. So yeah, that is what I wanted to tell you about today. But at least I had sales of some sort going out. I tried to space them. Though they were spaced out. They were like one a day on Poshmark. As you saw, if you watch the shipping videos, saved them all and did one shipping video, I think. Now, I didn't do a shipping video Saturday because I was going to come on here and show you what I sold anyway on eBay. But if I start to have sales, I will do some more shipping videos. I'll do them every day if I get enough sales, but I'll save them up like I did. Oh, hi, Brylan. I wanted to ask you a question, Brylan. If you sell something on promoted listings, like if not your normal, say you elevated your promoted listings to a big amount and you sell something and you don't know if that's one of the things that you put it on, after it sells, can you find, is there a way to see if it was what the promoted listing was, the amount? And where do you look? Because I've looked all, I've looked all over the items that have sold, and I haven't, it says fees, the amount of the fees, but everything has a fee. Okay, she's gonna look. But I want to know what the amount, if it's one of the ones that I put a big amount on, like a 12% instead of my 2%. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting to know that. Yeah, I mean the percent of what the amount, what the percentage is. Because most all mine are promoted. So there's going to be a fee. Does it say ad fee? Some of them say ad fee, and some don't. I don't quite get that either, but the dollar fee. Now there is a fee, a selling fee, but they all have a selling fee. I wanted to know if the ones I sold, because the 3 that I sold are super old items, and those are the ones I put high percentages on. And I just wonder if that is what made them, sell. Mm. Or if it was just a chance thing. I don't know. It wasn't, and the fee wasn't like a huge amount. So that's why I didn't think that it was that percentage. So I don't know. It'd be nice if you could find, if there was a way to see that. There's a graph. You can look at the graph if your promoted listings caused, more people to look at your store or more or items and more people, and if it resulted in a sale. It doesn't say the percentage. Yeah, because I'm not sure who else sells a lot on eBay on here that does promoted listings. You found it. Okay. Ad fee sold with your promotion. No ad fee. It was an organic sale. This is how I see. Okay. Go to. Oh, Michelle said that. Michelle Marshall. Ad fee sold with your promotion. Well, I don't have it in front of me, but one of the items said ad fee. The other two didn't. And there were other things that said ad fee, but that doesn't help me to know if it was the big ad fee. Because I always run promotions, even if it's the 2%. Sometimes it's 3%. I've had some older items that are 5%. But I'd like to know if those really old items that I just put the percentage they suggest, which is way up there, like 12%, I'd like to know if that was what I sold. Payments. Under recent activity, find the charge that says promoted listings and look at the right side of the amount charged, and you will see one of these. That little thingy. I better write that down. Recent activity. Find the charge that says promoted listings. And look at the right side of the amount charged, and you will see a little symbol. Okay, click on that symbol, and it will show you the transaction details. There will be fee details, and next, the word seller selected ad rate. Okay, yes, please. Will be fee details. Fee date next to the word seller selected. Ad rate. That's what mine looks like. The 2% was what I was promoting at. Okay. Okay, that's what it looks like, huh? General fee, 64 cents. Seller selected ad rate. Was the whole, they charge on the whole amount, I think, right? The shipping and everything times 2% would be the 64 cents. Okay. Okay. Yes, I will try to go see on those 3 items which I'm most interested in. Because if it made that big of a difference when I just put it on, if it made those 3 super old things sell, it would sort of be worth it to do on these things I've had for 4 years, because I just want those gone, you know? I'll get something and it'll be more than I paid for 'em. In summary, payments tab, recent activity, scroll down to fee you want and click the arrow on the right. Scroll down. Yeah, I'm not going to take this whole thing off. Sometimes I just, you know, click it and it goes off and I can't get the chat back. So, in order to keep the chat, I have to sort of keep my camera on and keep it going. Even though we stopped we ended the stream, the camera still stays on unless you know, payments task. Go down middle of page, slightly to the right. Is your percentage right? If you don't see it under recent activity, click all the way to the right where you see all, and it will go back. Okay. I will have to, where's my camera? This is really going back to basics here. You're going to take a picture. Of your instructions. Okay, let me go back to the other instructions. Okay. Hi, Michelle. Michelle Marshall's here. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a rough week, a surprising week. I don't know what eBay's doing, but it's just strange. Yeah. I have been getting eggs all week from my girls that are like 8 years old. The 2 white chickens are Cochins. I don't think the one that lays the chocolate eggs, I don't think she's laying because I'm getting no darker eggs. Now she doesn't lay when she was laying, they weren't near as dark as when she was real young. She's lost a lot of her, you know, her dye, D-I-D-Y-E, dye. Uh, but they're darker than the other 2 chickens' eggs because they're just a light tan. You're having to reduce prices a ton to sell anything. I know. Well, people are not, they're just buying, afraid to buy anything just for the heck of it. They're just down to buying necessities. And I think if I ever go shopping again, I'm going to look for necessities. More your everyday things that you would wear, have to replenish to wear. Yeah. So another seller, I don't know if was see Park. She may have been talking about that too. But I think they're just afraid to buy anything right now. Yeah, nobody knows what's going to happen. There's so much talk about a recession. I mean, aren't we in a recession? Can you get some baby young chicks and have Samantha help? Samantha to help with baby chicks, she'd have to live here. That's an all day, everyday job all the time. They're in your bathroom for weeks. Uh, yeah, my back can't do it anymore. I'd love to. I'd love to get chicks. You think it may change later? I hope so. I hope things sort of level out. Yeah. You need the babies on a table. Yeah, but then they get to that sort of when they get to be like 6 weeks old, they get to that ugly stage, and they outgrow the brooder box. They don't stay this little anymore. They're each like this, and the minute you take the lid off, which is just a screen, like, oh, they hop right up to, and they're off and running in your room. So then I transferred them to a big dog playpen, which I got, and that was in the dining room. It has a top on it. It's all like a screened in porch, a big screened in. It has a bottom on it, and you have to have shavings in there, and these little, this big chicks. They're flapping around and they're having a good time, which is making dust, chicken dust, and this fine, fine dust all over your room. It was coming into the kitchen. That's how much dust that they make. And they weren't old enough to go outside yet. I could take them out a couple at a time in a carrier and put them in a pen out there when it was real warm outside. If it was a 70-degree day or up, yeah, you could do that. But then you'd have to bring them in at night because it's going to go down to 40 or 50 in the spring. Yeah, it's unless you've done it, it's a huge job. What I should have done when I had chickens that would go broody, I should have sent for some fertilized eggs and stuck them under those chickens and let them hatch them, and then the mother hen takes care of everything. You don't have to do anything. But yeah, time went on, and my broody hens that would always went broody, like the Buff Orpingtons, they got, taken by the raptors. They got taken by the hawk or whatever got them. And these don't go broody that I have now. These are grandma chickens. I'm just lucky to get some eggs. I have 8 eggs in my kitchen right now. Yeah. So I'm gonna make some egg bread, and I'm gonna make some cobbler and some uh, meatloaf, which takes egg. It only takes one. I have plenty of ways to use my eggs. I don't have to just eat scrambled eggs. But that's always good too. I've scrambled eggs. You can have them all kinds of ways. Good protein. You need a grandchild to live with you part of the summer. They're too old now. They don't want to live with grandma. Yeah, they're in high school. Yeah. Mm. It wasn't very long before the chickens went, the biggest Rubbermaid container you can buy. It's huge. It wasn't long before the baby chicks outgrew that, and I had to get another one to set next to it and cut like a tunnel hole so that they could go through the tunnel into the next one so that they'd have double the space. My whole bathroom was little chickens. Then I'd go in there at least once a day, sometimes twice a day, and let them out so they could, you know, run around in the bathroom. Well, then you had that to clean up because chickens are messy. Little chicks just poop all over everything. And yeah, then you have the whole bathroom to clean up. It's a full-time job. I don't have the strength anymore to do that. I'm trying to get my son out here to help me clean up the yard so I don't have to hire somebody to do that. Um, but every time it gets nice, he's at the golf course now, of course. My son is an avid golfer, and, anytime the sun comes out that it's not freezing cold, he's at the golf course now. Uh, but he will probably be going back to work. He's he gets to be laid off when he wants to. He's in construction. And their dog, they have a very old Weimaraner who is on its last legs, and they can't really leave her alone. So my daughter-in-law just retired this past Friday. Uh, and so she's, home most of the time now. And so he can go back to work if he wants to. He wants to retire too. Uh, yeah. So I hope that Debbie didn't come on here, did she? I didn't see her. I hope when Debbie sees this, I answered her questions that she had. And that's about all I have for today. And we'll see how eBay is going to do since I put some more uh, higher percentages on promoted listings today. So we'll see if some more of my really, really old listings sell. That would make me happy. And
Don't forget to take out your trash cans.
I already did. Did you hear that? Uh, so yeah, I will be back on with hopefully some shipping videos this week. And I'm going to go look and see if any of those things I sold today. I have it on my camera now. I can follow your instructions, Brian. So I will see you sometime this next week with the mystery of eBay. You like those everyday ones? Okay. Even if it's just one thing. So I will see you. Thank you all for coming on here today. Have a good week, everybody. Oh, happy Palm Sunday. This is Palm Sunday. Heavens. Easter Sunday's next week. Have a blessed week, everybody. God is good. May you all be blessed. And I will talk to you during the week. Bye.